This session is going to kick off a series of sessions that we have that will be focused on demoing Lync integration applications. So this is the first session in that run. So if you're interested in seeing a lot more demos besides the ones that you're seeing today, look for the sessions in the schedule that start with apps for Lync. Today, this session will focus on some innovation that's being done in the area of unique user interface. And what I want to just call out at the very beginning, my name is David Newman, and I'm a program manager with the partner engineering team. And we actually work very closely with our software partners who are building various solutions using the Lync development platform. So if some of you don't know, one of the big value adds of Lync is that we have this very extensible platform that allows our software partners to extend Lync and actually embed communications within their own applications. So this session will not have any slides. We're going to focus very heavily on the demos. And in this session, we have MindLync Software, Wartel, and Modality Systems who will be showing us a couple demos. Now to get started, I actually just want to show you guys a quick internal demo that we have built particularly on the Unified Communications Web API. So I'm just going to switch over here. So within these demos, you'll probably see solutions that are actually using various APIs that we provide through the development platform. So this sample in particular is a web application combined with a modern Windows 8 app using the Unified Communications Web API. So this overall scenario that I'm going to describe is if you can imagine a taxi driver has a Slate tablet within their taxi, and they have an application on there that actually allows them to see passengers, see a map of where passengers are, and actually use that application to do some pretty interesting messaging with a user who has requested a ride. So I'm just going to get right started into the demo. So as a user, I'm looking to request a taxi. So I'm just going to log into the website here. Oh, let's try that again. Okay, so you can see I can load this website, and basically right now it's just asking me, where do I want to go? So I'm going to answer, so it looks like it thinks I'm in Seattle right now still. I'm just going to enter SeaTac Airport. And what I'm going to do is in a second click Hail a Cab. But first I want to show you what the cab driver would see on their side. So to do that, I'm going to open up my Windows 8 modern application. Let me just end this first here. The taxi driver was on a previous ride. So right now I'm set to busy because I was actually already taking a customer. So here, if I go back to the application, as a user, I'm playing both roles here. As a user, I want to hail a cab. So I want to go to SeaTac Airport in Seattle. So I'm going to click Hail a Cab. So basically it says no drivers are available at the moment. Now if I go back to, right now we only have one taxi driver in the system. If I set myself to available here as the taxi driver, Ike, my status is now going to change to available. So what I'll do is actually now go back to the desktop application, and I'm going to try to request a ride again. So looks like I'm still busy. So what I'm going to do is just restart the application here, the modern one. Perfect. Okay. So now we're reloading. Now this particular taxi driver looks like they're in Redmond, Washington. So now I'm available. So I'll jump here back to my map, and it says no drivers available. I'll click try again. So now we're locating a driver. When I jump back into the driver application, now you can see it actually says customer found. So I can confirm the pickup of this ride. I'll answer yes. So now my status has been changed to busy. And now this is all integrated into a modern Windows 8 application. And we can do this presence, and in a second you'll see I am actually embedded in the application completely using the UC Web API. So I actually have no dependency on a running Lync client. So I've accepted. We'll go back. Looks like I didn't get it. Let's try that again. Set myself to available. And this is actually this is integrated with the Bing Maps API also, you can see here. So that might be where some of the errors are coming. Of course, not from the Lync side.
You don't have it set to be on break, the driver?
Looks like we're getting a freeze up on the app, actually, too. So it's a good thing this session is mainly focused on our partner solutions, not on the demos that we're creating. So let's try that again. If this doesn't work this time, we'll jump out of here. Here we go. So it's now a message was being sent. Welcome, your driver will arrive in a couple minutes. So see, I'm having a confirmed pickup. I'm going to say yes, pick me up. So now I can see I have the name of the driver and the taxi number that is actually going to come and pick me up. And up here, now I actually have this IM conversation going. So as a taxi driver, I obviously don't want to be typing messages now to the person I'm picking up. So what we've done is on his tablet, he'd be able to tap just a number of preset messages. So I could say, give me 5 more minutes. And now that IM is actually now being sent to the user who is on their web page. So in a couple seconds, they're going to receive that message that basically, oh, there it is right there. So I think that's sent through. Might have a slow connection. But what you can see is that we actually are now sending IM messages from that Windows 8 modern application to this web page using the UC Web API. Now, the reason I wanted to show this demo at first is because it's not traditionally what you think of in a UI perspective from Lync. So here we can see all this branding has been done in a different way than what you would expect to see in Lync. So that's the power of this Lync platform, is that you can actually integrate these features, these Lync features and modalities directly into your own company applications. And they basically extend the functionality of Lync. So we'll just, let me jump back here quick. So it looks like anyways, that was the end of my demo. So you saw a little bit about kind of the demos we're playing around with to do some of the unique UI. But I want to really now just jump into the partner solutions, because it's our partners who are really extending the platform in the most unique ways and providing real value to their customers. So first, we're going to first introduce Ben, who is joining us from MindLync. And I'll invite Ben up here to just demo some of MindLync's solutions.
I would like to introduce Anne Catherine, actually, who's actually...
Sorry about that, Anne Catherine.
So I'm Catherine, this is Ben. I'm here from MindLync Software, which is a tech startup based out of London, what we call Silicon Roundabout. And MindLync is a collaboration app that we built specifically for Microsoft, for Lync 2013, 10, or OCS 2007. Now, Ben is, in a little while, is going to show you our tablet client, but I'll just give you a quick overview of what we actually do. Collaboration is probably the broadest term out there. So in 2 words, what we do is choose tablet. Think it's better? Is that any better? You can speak louder as well. So in 2 words, what we do is persistent chat, or group chat, or enterprise chat. And we fill the gaps of persistent chat in Lync. For those of you who don't know what persistent chat is, so you can basically set up chat rooms, chat channels for your projects, your customers. And you can invite your colleagues to those groups and start sharing text-based knowledge files, links. And the beauty is the persistence, so you can refer back to what has been said yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, even a year ago. So you create this knowledge repository, basically. And you can filter it, it's searchable, and it really unlocks the knowledge. It's not in someone's head, it's not locked up somewhere in an email inbox. Now, for those of you who have persistent chat, you might ask, okay, so what makes it actually different to what I already have? Well, there's 4 things. Number 1, Mindly persistent chat works cross-platform. So yes, on Windows, but if you have Mac users, if you have a Linux population, we enable that for those users as well. The second big thing is we mobilize persistent chat. And I can see you all on your iPhones, your Blackberries, your Android devices, your tablets. So we mobilize it, including MDM support. The third thing is compliance. So if you're in a regulated industry, probably more of interest of how do you archive URM and PChat messages. And the fourth thing is really integration. So we really don't want PChat as a standalone tool. You want to integrate it. You want to embed it into your SharePoint portal or into Outlook. You want to connect it to external sources and have social feeds come into a room. You want to connect it to your internal line of business systems, maybe your dynamic CRM. So we have an API for that. So that's how we really differentiate and fill the gaps of PChat in Lync. So PChat is a great technology, but what makes it successful, or any rollout successful, is adoption. So you get people to use it. And a big part that's down to the interface. So it's feature rich, it's easy to use, it's intuitive. And Ben is going to demo the latest release, which is MindLink Tablet, which is the persistent chat client on a tablet device.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Just about. Click this here. Can you hear me? Yeah? Yep, cool. Right, so let's switch over. So my name is Ben, I work on the engineering team at MindLink. So I'm going to demo our MindLink for iPad app that we spent most of last summer developing. So I think AK did quite a good job of explaining what we do, so I'd just like to reiterate that this sits on top of persistent chat as it comes out of the box in 2013. So all of the content, all of the chat rooms here, that's driven and stored within persistent chat in Lync, and we are enabling that for the mobile interface. So at MindLink, we really believe that a key way of enabling a whole new realm of benefit of persistent chat is if you enable it for mobility, and if you enable it for disconnected notifications of new content, so push notifications. So our vision of using this technology is that you have a well-structured, moderated set of chat rooms that have a purposeful reason for that collaboration flow, and that the people in those chat rooms who need to be in those chat rooms are always in those chat rooms and are getting notified when new content comes in. So then you get like a purposeful, real-time, always connected collaboration flow driven by the chat room. So this is the whole idea behind all of the products we're trying to do. So we're kind of calling this culture business-critical collaboration. So in addition, we've spent many years working with customers to implement group and persistent chat in their organizations. So there's been a number of scenarios that we've seen come up again and again that we've tried to solve in our products. So I'm going to demo this under the context of business critical collaboration, how we've enabled it for mobility, and also how we tried to solve some of those scenarios that we've seen. So this is the main interface for the app. So it's driven by a sort of column navigation system. So I can choose which column is the active column, and that gets highlighted. And then I can use the bar at the side to choose what I want to see in that column. So the idea is I can set up maybe the left-hand column as will show like a conversation that I'm really interested in, that I need to keep monitoring, and then I can do my work and switch between the columns in the other two. Right, so let's go into a conversation. So if I go let's work in the middle column. So if I go into the project A chat rooms, this is the chat room. I can see the messages. I can see the users that are in the chat room. And I can send a message. Hello, and I will send it as an alert message. Okay, pretty straightforward so far. So let's go back. So let's talk about the group and the contact lists. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you heard that, but I just got a push notification because I sent that message. So it's one of the key features. So one of the themes that I'll be talking about is when we mobilize this, we've been looking at how to filter the data so you can choose what you take with you on your mobile device. So we see customers where the users have hundreds of chat rooms on their desktop client. So certainly in MyLync, we have hundreds of chat rooms. But when you're working in a mobile context, you only want to take maybe the chat rooms that you actually need to be in and need to be notified about, and the rest of the content can wait until you're back at your desk. So these group and contact lists, they're maintained separately from the contact lists and the group list in your main desktop client. But you can use this feature here to sort of bring in the groups that you actually want to maintain a mobile presence for. And the same for contacts. So you'll notice in the middle I have this live stream. So the use case here is, we think it's very important that you can consume new information and see the new information that's come in very quickly, and that you can respond to it very quickly. So the live stream basically represents a history of all the messages that you've received most recently in all of your chat rooms and all of your contacts. So from here I can reply directly into a project. That's my fat fingers there. So if I click on the right bit, then it will bring up the input box and I can reply directly. Okay. So I talked a bit at the beginning about push notifications, and it works because we just got a push notification. So another thing you can do is I've got another push notification. You can use the configuration settings here to decide which messages you will actually get notified about. So if you're not familiar with what a push notification is, that's in iOS anyway. When you get a new message in a room, you will get a badge icon, a number on the app icon on the desktop. That will be that will show the total number of unread messages that you have, and then you can also configure it to play a sound, pop up a banner, and it will go in the iOS notification center. So you can use the configuration settings here to decide which chat rooms will trigger actual audible notifications and vibrate, etc. So you can do that on a global scale here, or if you select custom, and then I think I have to select custom and click save actually, and then I go into an actual group. I can then configure per chat room notification, so it goes quite granular really. So you can, if there's a chat room that's about the system that you're in charge of, then you can configure just alerts for that chat room. So you will notice when I was in the live stream global notification setting that there's an option for mentions, and in fact it's on the groups list. At the top there is a My Mentions group or stream. So in the Lync 2013 persistent chat client on the desktop, there is I think they call it the ego feed. Is that right? Or is it the ego stream? Ego feed? So this is like an extra chat room that will basically show all of the messages in all of the chat rooms in which someone has mentioned your name. So that's quite handy because it means you can easily see messages in which you might have been assigned actions or which might require your attention. So we tried to formalize this slightly in MindLync by using the mention paradigm from Twitter. So if I go into the My Mentions filter, I can see the exact list of messages that I've been mentioned. So I can see all of the messages that I might have to take action about. So similarly, sending mentions, if I go back to project A, so if we look at the members in this channel, if I want to assign Alex Hankin an action, then I can mention him in the input box. So we should get some autocomplete going on. There we go. Do some work. And Alex Hankin, if he has that that filtering that we talked about configured for his My Mentions, he will get a notification now, and he will be able to immediately reply wherever he is. So we think that's really powerful. I will just quickly show you presence as well. So this client does group chat, well, persistent chat, I should say, and one-to-one IM. If you want to, you can disable the IM portion of this and just use it for persistent chat, and then you use the Lync 2013 Microsoft iOS client for all the other Lync modalities. So I've pretty much been through all the main bits that we've done to enable the core bits of persistent chat for mobility. So I'll go on to the kind of the extra bells and whistles we've done to solve a lot of the problems that we've seen. So we advocate when we're helping people set up their persistent chat systems that you look at your organizational structure and you architect your chat rooms to match your organizational structure. So you have team-based, project-based chat rooms, and you use a naming convention, and you lock them down. And that's really how you start building a repository of information around each chat room and each team. Having said that, there is always the case that you end up getting multiple streams of conversation going on at the same time within a chat room. So, and that means it gets quite hard, because when you're reading the chat room, you don't know which messages are related to each other, and it's quite hard to kind of indicate that you're applying to a certain stream. So we solved that problem by using hashtags, again, using a Twitter paradigm. So if you see here in the project A chat room on the left, some of the messages have hashtags attached. So if I want to see a quick summary of all the hashtags that are mentioned in this chat room, I can see a contextual window, and it will show me the count of all the hashtags. So if I click on one of these, if I want to see, if I've clicked on sales, so this has now filtered the messages in the chat room to just those that have the hashtag sales in them. So that's quite a nice way. So I can quickly filter and see the different streams that are going on. So if I reply now, hello sales. So actually that's a bad example. I'll just type hello. So if I click, if I send that now, then it's replied within the context of that hashtag. So it's appended the hashtag sales to it. So I've automatically replied to the right stream. So just finally, another common scenario that we found was, sometimes you might be having a one-to-one conversation with someone in your team, and really you basically end up with a conversation that you think is quite worthwhile, and really the rest of the team needs to know about this, or maybe it relates to content in one of the other chat rooms. So you really want to copy that conversation and post it back to the chat room where it's going to be most valuable. So you could copy and paste that would work, but especially on the tablet, that's quite hard to do. So we've implemented what we call critical IM, so you can move an IM conversation back into a chat room where everyone can read it. So I've got on the right-hand side, I've got a conversation going on here. So I've decided I want to now move this into the Project A chat room. So I can click on the Move icon. So here I can select the messages that I want to move, and then I can select where I want to move them to. So I only want to move. I'll move the top two. I don't care about the hello message. And I want to move to Project A, so it gives me a confirmation. And if you see on the live stream, it's posted at the top. That's the message. And then if I go into Project A, then it's moved the messages into the Project A chat room, and it's moved them as a story. So if I open the story, it's formatted it nicely, and it's mentioned the people that were involved. So I think I will wrap up the demo there. I just want to say that we also have this for iPhone. We have this for BlackBerry OS, the traditional version. We have it for BlackBerry 10. And it's coming for Android in Q2. So for the iOS bits, we have it wrapped in Good Dynamics and BlackBerry Secure Workspace as well. And we also have a web solution and all the other bits that AK talked about. So thanks very much for having us. And I think that was great. Thank you. Cheers. Nice.
So what we'll actually do is we'll leave a little bit of space at the end to do a Q&A session. So if you have any questions for any of the companies that are presenting solutions in this session or any of the others, you can have an opportunity to come up and ask them. So our last presenters for today are going to be from Modality Systems. I think we have Tom coming up to present it. Oh, Sean, yeah.
Okay, hi. My name's John Lamb, and this is Tom Morgan. We're from Modality Systems. Modality is a global consulting company. We focus exclusively on Microsoft Lync. We have a consulting practice, design deployment, managed service support practice, and a custom development and software development division as well. So we're going to show you some of the things that we've been working on. I think it's kind of a tough act to follow. I really enjoyed seeing the solutions from MindLink. I'm really excited to go try group chat now, or persistent chat. I think that interface was really slick, and the solution from Vortel as well was excellent. Ours is a little bit different in the sense that what we're probably showing is less of an off-the-shelf kind of product solution, and a little bit more of what you as an enterprise could go out and develop using the Lync APIs. You could kind of figure that out yourself. If you have .NET developers, you could come to a consulting company like Modality to help you kind of understand what's possible and what you could do. And we've kind of picked two that are the lowest hanging fruit, right? Just to show the simplicity of what you can build on Lync, but also how that some really simple stuff can add interesting value as well. So I'll hand it over to Tom, who's going to first visit SuperToast. Okay, so SuperToast is a product that we offer for free, so you can go download a single user version from our website. And it's named SuperToast because the incoming instant message notification that you get in Lync looks like a piece of toast coming out of a toaster. So sometimes people don't get confused. Why did you call it that?
Great, thank you. Okay, so I have SuperToast running on this machine, and I'm just going to send myself an IM. And okay, cool. Which isn't going to send because of the network, which is, you know. So I'm going to stall for time. Yeah, it's just me. Yeah. Yeah. And probably also because I'm presenting, which is kind of a bad idea. So like kind of Lync does know what I'm doing, but doesn't know what I'm doing. So I need like a special demo status mode. So actually, I'll try it again because it'll probably just work now. You got it? Cool. Okay. So all John's going to do is just send me an IM. Come on, you'll all be familiar with this. Yeah. It's nice. Yeah. These are the dev accounts. These, yeah. Yeah, that's how we know. That's it. Yeah. So this is the problem. So whilst we've been talking, this has been on the screen, and it stays on the screen for kind of 25, just under 30 seconds. And if you're looking at the screen, that's fine. But as soon as it's gone, it's gone. I mean, all right, it's in the corner just, but it's kind of, if it's an important message, you might miss it. Okay. So we wrote SuperToast. Yeah. So with that in the center of the screen, there's no way you're going to miss that message anymore. Okay. That will stay there with the focus on top of everything else. You can brand it, as you can see it kind of, I've done a bit of conference branding. And when I come back to my computer or I look up from whatever it was I was doing, I can say, oh, I missed something from Alicia Devine. Click on it, straight into the conversation. Okay. Obviously, Supertaste is clever enough to not do that if I jump in and actually just kind of start typing. So it lives down in the system tray down here. So there's a ton of configuration options, so you can really kind of go to town if you want to make it look really disgusting. So I have mine with some really, really bright colors. And I have like up here where you're supposed to have a logo, I have a picture of me doing this, just because. And there's some other things, so the delay before it gets sent out, you can either do it straight away or you can leave it. Okay, so I know some guys have it set to half an hour, so if they really, really do miss it, it only kind of comes up every now and again if you've genuinely kind of really dropped the ball on something. And you can also get it to do it for video calls as well. And for big enterprises, obviously a lot of this stuff can be locked down if you don't want users changing it, and rolled out as well. Okay. So that's Supertaste, and that's a good example of just an application you can kind of just throw on users' machines as a way of just kind of solving a little niggle or a problem. Okay. Whereas the next thing we want to show you is kind of something slightly different. So I'm going to hand back to John, who's going to do, if that's cool with you, yeah? Yeah. So I'm set to busy at the moment. So
Okay, thanks, Tom. So the next application we're going to show you is one we call Train Me. And it's a really interesting kind of story about how this came about. We were doing, as I mentioned, we're a Lync consulting practice. So we were rolling out, designing, deploying Lync for a global pharmaceutical company. It was about 82,000 seats, so on the small side. And we had this challenge of how do we get around to all the users to train them. One Monday morning, every week, 1,200 users were going to come in and not have a desk phone anymore, and they would have a headset, right? And so we needed to kind of engage those users and not throw just people power at it because we didn't have enough project budget to do that. So what we did is we came up with this concept called Train Me, and we really outsourced that task to a bot because bots don't get tired. They can talk to lots of users all at once, and it kind of drove some interesting behavior. But I'm going to show you the application first, and then we'll talk about what actually happened when we deployed that. That's not our mouse. That's going to confuse me. Okay. So here we go. I just need to change my status. Yeah, okay. So the bot basically watches everyone's presence, and it's just doing that by subscribing to your presence in Lync, just the way somebody who has you in their contact list would. So the first time a user would sign into Lync as a new application, they would immediately get this instant message. Okay, so what is this? It's popping up in the corner. Let's go click on it. And this application, in the case of the pharmaceutical company, would say, welcome to Lync. Would you like to learn more about this new application, how to use it, et cetera? And we only had one training bundle, so to speak, in there. And they would just immediately see this. And it's bringing them right into the application. It knows who they are because they're signed into Lync. And we have a series of videos here that would train them how to use Lync. So if I just kind of pop into that first one, it's streaming it from a local server. It could be cloud hosted as well. And these are the videos that you might know and love from the RSAK, the resource, I don't remember what it stands for. The RUSK. Yes, thank you. It's a training and adoption kit that Microsoft basically offers free of charge. You download it. We didn't do anything novel except package those videos in an interesting way so that the user becomes quickly engaged, can watch it, full screen it if they so wish, things like that. The interesting thing is we can also track what they're watching. So if somebody's watched 80% of the video, we mark it as watched. If not, we tell them they haven't watched it. And we could see all kinds of interesting reports about who's using the application, who's watching the videos, et cetera. Now, the interesting thing that happened here was it engages the user immediately. So they start learning about Lync while they're in Lync, and they're checking it out, and they're using it. And they feel kind of loved by the whole system. And we didn't know exactly what was going to happen. It could have just been a complete bomb, but it was actually the opposite. It was so successful in terms of the quickest IT project from an adoption and usage perspective. And it wasn't just your standard sort of organic growth of Lync IM things like that. People were using audio, video immediately, desktop sharing, setting up meetings and conference calls. And it was so successful that the company basically came back and said, we need this for more than just Lync. So we kind of hinted at that earlier. And now the product has the ability to have these training bundles, so HR can have their training and health and safety can have their training and so on and so forth. And you can push this out in different ways. So in closing, user engagement drives adoption, and you can use development of custom user interfaces to drive user engagement. Thank you.
Which is cool. If we got time? Great. Yeah. Would that be all? Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I think web chat. Let's do web chat. I like web chat. So yeah. Okay, cool. No, it's cool. Cool. Oh yeah, you will. Sorry, I see what you mean. Yeah, if you stay on as Alicia, that would be great. Okay, so if you were at we did some demos this morning, and we kind of led up to this final demo, which is it's a customer agent scenario thing. So we have a routing engine we call Help Me. It routes customers who need help with agents who can provide that help. And there's a couple of different ways in which you can run it. So you can run it with everybody running Lync clients, or we have what's called web chat, which sits on a customer's website and allows them without any plugins to connect to an agent for instant messaging and things like that. But then we kind of started to think, well, that's great, but really customers want to talk to people, and we know they don't have Lync, and we know at the moment that putting video and audio on the page is a little tricky, but these guys have got Skype, yeah? So why not get them to call in via Skype to a bot, have the bot take the call, welcome them, put them on hold, and then the bot go and find the agents. Now let's add something else in as well and say that the agents might be on mobile devices. Now mobile devices are a little tricky because we can't rely on using context, we can't display any additional information like we were up there. All that sort of conversation has to happen over IM. So the scenario then is that having been put on hold from an audio call, the bot needs to make out a series of instant message calls to find an agent and talk to that agent to say, I've got this guy on a call, do you want to take it, do you not want to take it? And if the agent says, yeah, I'm happy to take it, then the bot then needs to transfer that audio call in. So it's kind of an involved demo, and it usually works. So I don't think I'm going to be able to, but no, I'm just going to crank the volume up on this, just so you can hear. So I'm in Skype, and John is signed in as an agent on his phone. Okay, so
welcome to Help Me from Modality Systems. We are looking for an agent. Please hold.
Okay. So John's just got an alert. It will say something like, you've got an incoming phone call from this person, from this Skype number. Do you want to take it? He's going to just type yes.
You have been connected to Alicia Devine.
And then hopefully you'll then get an incoming call. Yep. And then we'll get some horrendous feedback.
Hello.
Cool. Great. So in that scenario, neither party had the desktop Lync client. The customer is just using Skype, and the agent is logged in via the mobile client. It could be a mobile client, it could be a desktop client. Okay. So that kind of throws together a lot of different things all in one kind of slightly crazed demo. So we're doing lots of demos. If you missed the one this morning, we're also doing it tomorrow afternoon, where the lead up is not quite jumping in like that. It kind of leads up in a couple of steps to get there. So if you're interested, that'd be great. Any questions, grab us at the end. We've got time for some Q&A, I guess. Yeah, cool. Yeah, great.
Quickly, before we jump into the Q&A session, I'll invite these guys back up here. I just wanted to encourage you all to attend the Apps for Lync sessions that are happening the rest of the conference. This is just a small sampling, and even with the demos packed into those other sessions also, we have thousands of Lync extensibility applications that have been created by partners and customers. So you can see that we go well beyond that Lync out-of-the-box functionality, and these partners are really the ones who are doing that innovation in their different verticals. They understand their customers and their needs, and because Lync is such an extensible platform, it makes them very easy to use the various APIs to do some of these great scenarios and capture a lot of the customer needs that we saw from the companies that presented today. So I'll ask them all to come back up here for a second, and then we're going to open it up for general Q&A. And if you have any particular questions for the companies, or you have any questions about our developer programs that we run for partners, you can also direct those to me. Thank you. So if you had any questions, if it's short, you can just put your hand up, or if it's a long one, just come up to the mic so everybody can hear. So the question was, are these applications available in English only, or is there other languages?
Currently in English only, but currently in English only, but we'll work to internationalize it if a customer wants that.
Ours as well. It's it's built for the customer, so it's English based. However, we can change it to another language, but it's in the code, so we need to change it there.
Well, ours are in both UK English and US English. So we have localization built in, and could I imagine pretty easily add different language files for the text.
Okay, so in terms of trying them out, Supertoast comes in two versions. There's a free and there's a pro. So you can obviously download the free right now from the Modality Systems website. The other apps are part of the ones that we've shown, the Alert Me, Train Me, and Help Me, are part of the Lync Me family of applications. Now, they can be deployed on-premise. We can also host them. So we have a hosting platform. So we can set you up with trials of that. It's very well set up for doing trials. That's at linkme.net. We do have some code on GitHub. So we did some work with Scott Hanselman for a auto answer full screen suppressed app. That's at linkautoanswer.com. So there's some. That's a GitHub project. So yeah, you can definitely check that out. So.
Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Has anyone here had any experience with using some of the prepackaged controls, mainly the conversation window, in document and applications successfully?
Do you guys want to end me?
Okay. These are the WPF or the Silverlight ones. Yeah. So yeah, no, we do. We have used them. We didn't use them for Alert Me and Train Me just because of the way it's structured, but we definitely have used them in the past with Silverlight apps. I definitely used one at least myself in a personal project I did a couple of weeks ago. and I believe Supertoast probably makes use of them as well.
Any issues with resizing?
No. But yeah, if you have, it'd be interesting to kind of take it offline. And I'm just curious, really. But yeah, no, it's normally been okay, I think. Sometimes like we've noticed some things internally, like through running these demos on the big screens and out on the kind of kiosk things as well. Some things we thought were responsive weren't quite as responsive as we thought, but we think that's our problem and not the controls. So, yeah.
Go ahead.
How are you guys addressing the mobile experience?
Yeah, so that's probably the question. So our answer with the platform for the mobile space is kind of the same API I was showing in the demo earlier, is the Unified Communications Web API. So that particular piece of the platform is a REST API that basically uses HTTP to communicate with the Lync server. So that basically what that means is that it's a cross-platform API. So you can actually code in any programming language, Objective-C. You can program for Android using this API because it's basically the underlying nature of the API is just sending these HTTP requests. So it's just a web API. So that means that any language that supports that HTTP stack you can use. So on mobile, you can actually embed these capabilities directly into your mobile application. Now, I don't know if MindLync wants to comment because they have some of those solutions that they were showing today that were built on mobile.
Yeah. So can you give me a bit more sort of context around the question? That answer, right. Okay.
Perfect. All right, thanks everybody. And one other thing I wanted to mention too is that if you saw in the keynote demo this morning, you might have noticed that healthcare demo that Derek had shown with the embedded browser capabilities. So in tomorrow's session at 1 o'clock, I can't remember the name of the session. It's with Albert Koyman. We're going to be actually showing that in a little more detail. So again, that's another example of the Lync platform integration in some of your applications that you can create. And thanks again to all these companies for joining us today. And any more questions, you can come up and talk to them. Thank you.